At this point, Joy Reid's only purpose is to serve as content for political commentary on the right. The crazy part is, I think she kind of knows that, and I think she kind of likes it. Miss Reid went viral on X yesterday when this clip of her saying that Joe Biden getting the coronavirus and assumingly recovering from it is the same or somewhat similar to Donald Trump almost getting assassinated on Saturday. Let's take a look.
The question that I have on that, these two men are both elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. Weird situation. We'll figure that out one day. But his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days? Doesn't that convey exactly the same thing? That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age. So if he does fine out of it and comes back and is able to do rallies, isn't that exactly the same?
It should.
I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not the same incident, but it's an elderly man coming through out of an illness.
It should.
Imagine being Jen Psaki and knowing that, like, you can't really disagree with her outright because you're on air. But at the same time, you can't completely be like, yeah, it's the same thing, because then you end up looking just as dumb as she does. Like, I would be so upset if my coworker put me in that position. But anyway, I am not going to dissect why what she said is completely absurd and ridiculous. I trust in my audience. I know y'all are smart people. I know y'all are logical people. I know y'all are reasonable people. And I know that because of that, y'all also know that that is nonsense. So we are not going to talk about that. What I want to do is zoom out a little bit and really analyze Joy Reid's hate for Donald Trump and her position towards him, because I feel like at this point we've all accepted it, but it still fascinates me for some reason as to why she hates this man, because I don't think that she despises Donald Trump because of his policies. Joy Reid is smart. She's been in politics for a very long time. She's been doing this for quite some time. She knows that Donald Trump's policies are not as damaging as she pretends that they are. She knows that, okay? She was there between 2016 and 2020. She remembers, okay? So she's pretending that it's going to be the end of the world if Donald Trump gets back into office, but she does not believe that. So it's not his policies that has her just all riled up every time the man succeeds or, dodge a bullet, hypothetically and literally. So it always fascinates me because I'm just like, why do you hate this man? Like, when I come across normal Democrat voters, even like the crazy leftists, and they point to his policies and his rhetoric, I'm like, I believe that you believe that, because it takes a lot of effort to really look into some of the things that's being shown, on places like MSNBC. It really takes an extra effort to be like, let me make sure that what I think is true is true. And most people don't have the time for that. So when I speak to regular Democrat voters and like, oh, Trump is a racist, I believe that you believe that. But I don't believe that Joy Reid thinks that Trump is a racist. I don't think that she thinks that he's a fascist. I don't think that she believes a lot of the things that she says about him. So then the question begs, what motivates her hate for him? And I have come to the conclusion that it is jealousy. She is jealous of Donald Trump because nothing else makes sense. She's jealous of the fact that he's been able to, again, dodge all of these bullets, hypothetically and literally. She hates the fact that no matter what they throw at him, he always seems to come out on the other end better than before. And she hates that. She hates the way that people like him. She hates the energy around him. She hates the movement that he's been able to build with his bare hands and his personality and his charisma. She hates that. And I think that's what she's jealous of, because people, and this is something that like I kind of sort of got from Matt Walsh, so I'm not going to give myself all of this, credit, but I definitely agree with it. A lot of these journalists, a lot of these far left, Democrat activists, they're like failed Hollywood actors, okay? They are in it, yes, for the prestige and, the fact that they get to speak to millions of people every day and share their opinion, but they're also in it for the entertainment of it all, to be able to show their personalities and, have the following, have people like them, have people tune into them every single day and enjoy their presence as well as their opinions. But none of them are able to gather the type of following that Donald Trump has been able to gather. No one in Democrat land has been able to do that. I think the only person that comes remotely close is Obama. Outside of that, no one. That's why AOC had to go hopping around on that stage the other day, making a fool out of herself, because they want that energy in their movement and they don't have it. Especially since, again, this year, they do not have the distraction of the, coronavirus, and they do not have the distraction of BLM to motivate people. So they actually are trying to go off just vibes. And considering that Joe Biden, the vegetable, is their candidate, they can't even, construct any type of vibes. And when you look at, the RNC, when you look at what's going on the Republican side of things, we're having a grand time, and that's not to say that, what happened on Saturday was this wonderful thing. It was awful. And I feel like people are trying to say that the only reason why the RNC and Republicans are as fired up as they are is because of what happened on Saturday. It was like this before, okay? Most Republican voters, especially after the debate that happened a couple of weeks ago, realized that we are in a pretty good position to win in November. So it really didn't have anything necessarily to do with the what happened on Saturday. I think what happened on Saturday just reminded people of the seriousness of the moment, because I think at that point, before then it was kind of lost. People were just excited about, the fact that we had a good movement going and we had a good stride and it looks like we're going to win in November. And then what happened on Saturday, it kind of brought reality back to a lot of us, because it's just like, this is, yes, we're excited, but we are living in some serious times. So I don't really think it had anything to do with Saturday. I think that we are just in a really good position. We're excited about our candidate. His VP pick, JD Vance, is a wonderful, awesome pick. He has a bright future ahead of him. He's young, okay? The Republican bench is looking good. Our party is looking good. And Joy Reid is mad. Okay, she is upset and she's jealous of Donald Trump, because it's been Donald Trump that's been able to do this, and she doesn't know what to do with herself. And it's funny how she's like, Joe Biden possibly, I'm assuming he's probably going to be fine, recovering from COVID is the same. What? One last thing I'm going to say is that if it was up to the Joy Reids of the Democratic establishment, if they had their way, they would switch out Donald Trump for Joe Biden last Saturday in a heartbeat, okay? Because if it was an attempted assassination on Joe Biden, then no one would be talking about Joe Biden's age. No one would be talking about his competency. No one would be talking about all of the issues surrounding his presidency and the job that he's done these last couple of years. No one would be talking about that. On top of that, they can turn around and blame it on the Christian white nationalists, white supremacists, the big bad boogeyman that they've been talking about for the last 8 years. It's like, there goes those violent white supremacists again. They would have had a field day with a story like that, but they don't have that. And they're pissed about it. They are so upset about it. And it's been funny to watch them come to the reality that their party is in a really, really, really extraordinarily tight spot. And it seems as if all the energy, all the charisma, all the vibes, all the everything has been on the Republican side of the aisle. And I don't know what these next couple of months is going to look like. I'm pretty sure that Joe Biden is not going to be on that ticket, because changing out Joe Biden is probably the last Hail Mary they have, all things considered. But yeah, I mean, Joy Reid is an idiot. I mean, that's nothing new. That's why I was like, I'm not even going to talk about that, because who doesn't know that? This is just another incident of her being herself. But it's just been really interesting to watch the Dems fumble after Saturday.